Grace and peace to each and every one of you who toil and worry and work so hard every single day. Welcome to an hour of rest. It is true that, friends, we do not rest well. There is one hobby other than pickleball that I master this. I don't do crafts. I nap. No, seriously, it is my best hobby. I'm so good at it. In fact, I have different levels of napping. If I'm really going to nap, that means at least 2 hours in my bed underneath my fluffy comforter. If I am going to rest, that means, about 45 minutes, half hour to 45 minutes, and I'll rest a little bit. Now, if I'm going to close my eyes for just a moment, that's at least a good solid half hour. It doesn't matter whether I'm at the 30-minute mark, the 45-minute mark, or the 2-hour mark. Even though I'm laying and I think I'm taking a break and a rest, most often my mind doesn't stop. I continue to make the lists, I continue to replay the day, I continue to worry about what's coming. Anybody else relate to this? So even while I say to myself, I got a really good rest, friends, I am not resting the way that Jesus calls us to rest in the book of Matthew. In the book of Matthew, Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest." That is not a yield sign. That is not a stop sign. It comes closer to the idea of a rest area where you intentionally pull over, stop, and regroup. And interestingly, the rest area, that time of rest, didn't just come about now, and it wasn't even just invented by Jesus because it sounded good for the people who were traveling and working all over. It actually was designed from the very beginning of time. It's meant to be a rhythm. It's meant to be a life. It's meant to be part of your maybe every day, but at least once a week as we set aside Sabbath on our Sunday to come. But there is this place where we are called to rest. But I think most of the time when we think about it, we are thinking about resting from something. Think about it. Resting from something. I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to rest. I'm going to push through this, and when I finally get that done, then I can. You know what? I just feel like I need a little me time so I can. And we don't. At least not in the way that we are invited by the Creator of everything, where even the Creator creates and builds and makes a glorious place out of joy and love, as if it made God tired. I don't think so. But still, there was this place. Because of this, there was this place of peace. There is a time to rest. There is a time to be. And so while we rest from our work oftentimes, we are called to rest in God. Rest into the Holy Spirit. Rest in Jesus. And that's something, my friends, that is altogether different. It's a deep, abiding place of trust. So we don't just slow down. We don't just take a moment. But we intentionally set aside a place to focus. Not to check out, but to check in. To check in with yourself. I've talked about this a lot, of how we numb ourselves just moving and moving and moving and moving and moving. And we get rewarded for that, don't we? Wow, you're so busy, as if that's a badge of honor. Wow, you work 65 or 70 hours a week. You must be really dedicated. And God is saying, that is not what I said at all. Are you not listening to me? So since I said it back in Genesis and showed you how to rest, I'm going to tell you again in Exodus that you need to rest. In fact, it's not just a permission or an invitation. I'm going to have to command you to do it because you just don't get it. And there is a reason why God made it a command, and you pick that up at the end of this Exodus 20 and in Deuteronomy 5, which we didn't have as part of our reading. But there is a reason why this command was given to Moses. And that is because you were slaves in Egypt. And I, the Lord your God, brought you out of Egypt. And for this reason, you, your spouse, your daughters, your sons, your livestock, you shall rest. And it's not an individual place of resting, my friends. What is given to Moses is that we as a people will rest. We together will stop, and it's to set things straight, because now nobody can be taken advantage. Now nobody is worked to the bone. Now nobody has the weight of the world on their back trying to make ends meet. But on this day, whether you are weak or whether you are strong, no matter how it is, everyone deserves and is invited to rest. I think about how the world has changed. Well, I grew up. No, we didn't have sports on Wednesday. We didn't have stuff on Sunday. In fact, in the little town that I grew up in, there was only one gas station that was open, and it usually was like after we got out of church, so probably around 11, and it was open till like 2. So if you needed to get gas to go anywhere, you had that, and then it was over. There wasn't, the grocery store wasn't open, there weren't any, the bars weren't even open. Go figure. Because there was an idea in this small rural community that everyone was called to rest. And part of that rest was, for many of us, not all of us, but coming to rest in. And when we come to rest in, we come to rest in our community, in our faith community, where sometimes you are carrying so much and you think, I cannot take another step, but you know what? Somebody next to you is going to take that step for you. You come in so weary and so worried and so distraught. You're like, I don't even know how to pray. You know what? We're going to help you pray for you. I have no faith left. Wonderful, come to the table. You will be restored. You will be forgiven, and you can have rest. Jesus turns everything upside down, because what Jesus is talking about is not performance. We get into, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to church, then I might go have lunch with somebody, and then if I have children of any age, I'm going to run them to all of their events that they're doing all afternoon, and then maybe we'll get to swing by somewhere to get a drive-through to be able to get to the end of the day, where when I finally get to 9 o'clock and everybody's exhausted, I might be able to sit down. And that's not just families, that's all of us. We have everything so scheduled that even here, held in the arms of Jesus together, we fail to rest. Our God invites us into a rhythm of life that honors, not just stopping to catch your breath, not just yielding for a moment, but to become restored, to become filled, to become nourished. So when we come on Sunday, we for some of us, it's the checklist. Well, I went to church. No, you get to come into the arms of Jesus. You get to come into community. You get to come to be together. And here together we find our rest. But do we even know what that feels like? I want to invite you into something today. It might feel a little awkward. It's okay. If you don't want to participate, you never have to. But it's an invitation. I won't say it's a command because Jesus didn't give me that this week when I was preparing this service. He didn't say command everybody. So it really is an invitation. I would like to offer just a moment to give you a chance to experience what rest could really feel like. Will you go there with me? If you are willing, you can just open your hands and put them on your lap. You don't have to, but I invite you to try it. And now I want you to take a moment and I want you to just think about what you're thinking about. Then take a breath in all the way and a breath out. And a breath in and a breath out. Continue to just breathe. One of my life verses right now comes out of Psalm 16. And it says, "In your presence, I find my joy." Joy is not frenetic happiness. Joy is a sense of peace. On your next breath in your presence, and exhale, I find my joy. A moment of peace, a moment of quiet, where we are not resting from something, but we're resting into the one who promises to hold us through every single thing in our lives. Wow. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Friends, welcome to Sabbath. Yes, Sunday is a time for Sabbath, but you can take Sabbath moments every single day by taking just a couple of, open up your hands. Notice how your mind is running. Those are the things that we need to bring to Jesus to find some peace. A couple deep breaths in and out, and you will find and have just a moment of the kind of Sabbath rest Jesus is talking about. Guess what your spiritual practice is for this week, friends? I sure said, well, we're going through this, prepare. But to stop and breathe with very moments during the day and be intentional about not checking out from what you're doing, but checking into the one who is sustaining you in mercy and grace. Be grounded, be grateful, be unhurried. And you'll breathe in your presence. There is fullness of joy.